right, so I'm going to be looking at the title says, let me look at it. It says you will be deported. Female inmate survivor of California's R Word Club prison exposes guards taking turns on her. Wins $1.4 million lawsuit. So we're gonna be taking a look at this real quick. Without further ado, let's get into it.
There was nowhere safe, not the library, not your shower, not even your room, your counselor.
A sexual assault survivor of an infamous women's prison in Northern California is sharing her story for the first time. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kimberly Hunt, and my co-anchor Wally Aliu is on assignment. The federal prison in Dublin in Alameda County was known as the Rape Club by corrections employees who abused inmates. The prison's former warden and other staff are now behind bars. As Team 10's Austin Gravish shows us, victims are now being compensated in a historic multi-million-dollar settlement.
I'm broken, trying to fix myself, trying to love myself again.
The pain is still fresh for Denora.
Going to prison, yes, I put myself in there, but I didn't sign up to get abused, threatened.
The mother of three is trying to heal.
If you're in my shoes, at that moment, you're nothing. You belong to them.
Yeah.
They have your body, your mind.
She's a survivor of the infamous Dublin prison.
And you know what's crazy? You never really hear about you always hear about the men's prisons, but you never really hear about like stuff that goes on in the female prisons. Like this is one of very few like stories that I hear about female prisons and things where, female prisoners get taken advantage of by guards and, whoever else is taking advantage of them. It's very sad. And, money's not really going to like solve this problem. Money's not really going to solve this problem. Just my own opinion on that. But yeah, it's very, it's very disgusting, and it just makes me like think about like all the times where a woman has like come forward and accused people of something and people didn't believe her for whatever reason. When people accuse people without evidence, of course they should be, in my opinion, I feel like they should be banished banished and punished for whatever it is they do. But when a woman steps forward and she has been holding on to a secret for a long time of being abused, it should be taken seriously, especially if it comes out to be true and there's evidence of it. I think we as a society need to do a little better with that, as far as like, because the internet and the Me Too movement and everything has made it so I don't know what the word is, has made it so like common, almost normalized for somebody to accuse somebody else of doing something, whether they did it or whether they didn't do it, which is bad because anybody can go and accuse anybody. I mean, but it's mostly like women who are mad about not getting what they want, and then they just go and say like, "Oh, he did this to me." That I hate. I can't stand it when a man gets accused of something and it's just automatic to just dogpile him because of, oh, it's a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we should do better with believing women who truly have been put through a situation where they were vulnerable and used and they had to stay quiet about it. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that should be taken serious. But the women who are taking advantage of what the system has allowed to be normalized, those are the ones that need to go to jail and be punished. They need to be punished for lying. Perjury with no evidence should be taken as serious as when something is true. It should be taken serious.
The mother of 3 is trying to heal.
If you're in my shoes, at that moment, you're nothing. You belong to them. They have your body, your mind.
She's a survivor of the infamous Dublin prison east of San Francisco.
I was molested, forced to do things I didn't want to.
It's ABC 10 News' policy not to name victims of sexual assault without their permission. Denora has asked that we only use her first name in this story. Sexual abuse at the facility was so rampant, staff dubbed it the Rape Club.
There was nowhere safe, not the library, not your shower, not even your room, your counselor.
The lawsuit says the warden took interest in you right away.
So you say a couple of things that you went through, what you did before being there and what you do now. And that's where they get your weakness and everything they can use against you.
Denora, who used to live in San Diego County, says the abuse by corrections staff began shortly after she started serving her 6-year sentence in 2018 for running drugs over the border.
It was an everyday thing.
Wow.
Dancing, stripping, being scared of going to the shower because they're going to come in and look at you naked.
Did any of the female guards ever intervene?
No.
The lawsuit says that one of the guards said, "I know you will be deported. I can find you."
They will say, we know where you're from, Sinaloa. We got people too. So of course I'm going to be afraid.
At the center of the abuse, Warden Ray Garcia. A recently settled federal lawsuit says he forced Denora to perform oral sex on him and during his rounds would make her dance naked. When it wasn't the warden, it was prison guards with sexual demands. The lawsuit says one officer.
So wait a minute. Are all the prison guards like are they all women, or is it like men and women? And then you got the warden who's a man. That's sicko. Man. That is disgusting. And then think about how many other women in the prison that they're doing this to as well. Like, bro. I ain't gonna lie. This is a tough watch. For real.
With a vulgar nickname was, quote, notoriously perverted and threatened Denora.
And were you able to speak out at all when you were still inside and this was happening?
No, scared of retaliation. You couldn't say anything. Imagine getting threatened every day. You want to see your kids? You want your phone calls? You want your visits? Or you want to go to the shoe?
And get this,
taking advantage
Garcia wasn't just the head honcho at the prison. He was also in charge of enforcing a federal law at Dublin meant to deter sexual abuse of inmates.
He, the person in charge with preventing rape in prison, was one of the prime culprits perpetuating the rape in prison.
Hold on. Wait a minute. So he was against prisoners like R-wording each other, but the guards and him was R-wording the inmates. So he was keeping prisoners from R-wording each other just so him and the guard, bro. This is almost like a movie. You wouldn't even believe it unless you've seen it. It's crazy.
Diego civil rights attorney Gene Iredale represented Denora in the lawsuit against the Bureau of Prisons.
This case was historic in the sense that there has never been a case involving the exposure of such widespread, long-lasting, and frequent abuse in a prison institution.
I get the sense from reading the court documents that these men thought they were untouchable.
They did think they were untouchable.
The abuse was so
That they
rampant,
did.
the FBI raided the prison last year. Garcia, the prison's chaplain, and multiple guards have since been convicted of sexually abusing inmates.
Good.
The federal government recently agreed to pay nearly $116 million to settle lawsuits from over 100 victims, including 3 women in San Diego. Denora is getting $1.4 million.
That's not justice for me.
Yeah.
Not the
it's
amount of
not
what we're getting will ever change what they did to me.
at all.
I have that scar and I'm going to keep it for the rest of my life.
For sure.
Back in Northern California, where the abuse happened, the Dublin prison is now closed. But the memories of the terror inside will live on. Austin Grabish, Team 10.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That was very hard to watch just now. I ain't gonna lie. Very hard to watch. Very, very hard to watch. And salute to this woman for being able to tell her story, tell her testimony. I pray to God that like she uses that money to like do some great things, you know. Put her kids through school, you know. However God can like lead her in this, away from this situation. Not only away from this situation, but being able to be a testimony to be able to like, just be a light for somebody else, for any other victims out there who have gone through something like this, whether it be in prison or out in the world.